It's time to fight the futuristic metal piles, my fellow ice cubes, because we are moving to the far future. A world full of giant robots and annoying imp spiders is waiting for us. It is the sixth world of our team adventure and yet another hope to find Dave's Taco. Today we will deal with the futuristic zombies and their weird technologies. Without further ado, let's gather some sun bombs that are falling from the sky. The future? Weird, I thought I would be hungrier. After all, I haven't eaten in 4000 years. No comments. It's gonna be an epic time adventure since the fire plants are a perfect weapon against the robots and their zombie controllers. Day 1 is always the best one, especially when you have some pre-planted pea shooters. It allows me not only to block the zombie attack, but also to search for the imposter among us. So, out of these 3 pea shooters, the imposter is surely number 2. If you ask me why do I think so, he's the first pea shooter to receive a torchwood. Don't you find that strange? He wants to distract my attention from real problems like jetpacks and lava guava. These guys are immune to its fire tiles, so we should find another way to deal with them. Day 2, I don't forget about you, Pepperpult. This time the entire level was dedicated to such a fantastic Pepper, which is also able to deal with the shield zombie. Such a feature will be needed in the future, so I won't forget about my prehistoric friend. Also, one of the reasons to like this plant is the pepper rain. Nothing and no one can stand against the fiery peppers. It's time to feed the zombies with some hot wasabi whips. On day 3, we were introduced to imp spiders that attempted to consume my brain from behind. But don't forget that wasabi whip can slash the enemies on both sides, so their great plan has fantastically failed. Also, be aware of the local bucketheads, as they are dangerous wasabi eaters. Also, take a look at the final wave, as I really enjoyed everything that was happening on my lawn. You know who sometimes suns or bumps? This is one of these times. Yeah, we know about that, Crazy Dave. Sunbathing isn't the best idea, as it can cause a significant damage to your house. Day 4 is one of the few levels where you can forget about the sun deficit, as the fallen bombs are a great option to plant a serious defense line. Everything was going so well that I was able to save a lot of sun and plant a few columns of meteor flowers, which left no chance for zombies to make a step closer to my brain. Day 5 was some kind of a local Halloween, as this time we used my lovely jack-o'-lanterns to make a zombie barbecue. The little green pumpkins are so effective against 90% of the zombies that the rest of them aren't able to show any significant resistance to the main plant. It's effective against both bucketheads and robo coneheads, so I suggest you to get this plant as fast as possible. You can pick your friends, but you can't pick these plants. But some of my best friends are plants? Mine as well, Crazy Dave. Snow Pea and Wintermelon are cool dudes. We spent a lot of time together defeating the zombies. Day 6 was entirely dedicated to green plants, and that wasn't my will. However, it was a pretty cool level, since the plant choice wasn't a bad one and it gave me a bit of a rest from playing with only fire plants. Sometimes, days like this one are the best possible rest from turning your challenge into a dull routine. 12 flopas out of 10. Day 7 comes from a heaven, as I didn't find a better description of how my Pepperpult was saved from being eaten by a robo conehead. I was lucky, really lucky. However, taking the Pepperpult on such a level wasn't my best decision, since it's not capable of holding a major zombie attack, which consists of enemies tougher than bucketheads. The best possible option here would be to take Inferno and combine it with a meteor flower. But come on, that would be too boring for all of you. Instead, you can look at the real fight with some major troubles, which I ended up without losing any lawn movers. Wait, is that a futuristic tablet? We should take a look at it. Something is wrong about it. Perhaps a hole in the top right corner? How is it still working? Oh no, he's back. Welcome back, gardener. In this year, your brains were collected ages ago. Collect them again soon. Dr. Edgar Zomboss. Watch out, neighbor. I'm pretty sure he wasn't talking about my brains. I would say there is an evidence to the contrary. As you all know, Day 8 is an epic zombie battle, which has Snapdragon as the only included fire plant. Perhaps it's a great chance to share my opinion about that world once again. Far Future is for sure one of the most underrated time adventures in the game, since it has the same quality as the first 3 worlds, because 90% of it was completed even before the global launch of Plants vs Zombies 2. I honestly like everything about this world, since it feels unique. Plants, zombies and music, everything is perfect. Even the local gargantuars are unique, and not just a redesign of a classical Gork. You should give this world another chance, and I'm sure you will love it a lot. Day 9 was the right time to play with Inferno, since the number of available plants in the loan was limited. The only minus of such a fantastic fire plant is an awful sound effect, which is too loud compared to the rest of the plants. Without exaggeration, it's painful to listen to it, so I want to ask Slingshot Games to make Inferno at least a bit quieter. Did you know that the hot wisps of Wasabi Whip are a great choice against the Discotron? On day 10, I planted a whole column of Wasabi Friends to prove to you that it's reasonable to use them against the flying disco zombies and the rest of the horde. Oh, and don't forget about the Pyrewine, which also played a significant role in stopping all the enemies, since its fire ability works on any kind of zombie that comes close to it. I like to save some sun for a rainy day. It can get you out of a pickle or into an impage. Day 11 was the first last stand level of the Far Future. Here I decided to defend my lawn by planting a column of fire peas combined with pepper plants. If something goes wrong or zombies get too close to my defenders, first they need to consume a woody torchwood, which will turn them into an overfried barbecue, and only after that my main defense line is open for being eaten. However, such a scenario happened only a few times and all of my lawn movers were saved, meaning that the level was successfully completed. It's time to show the local zombies what the meteor shower is. Day 12 began just as usual, with 7 suns and planting as many fire plants as possible. It was also the first main level where we stuck with the Robo Gargantuar, which is by far the most dangerous enemy of the Far Future. However, even such a robot didn't become a big trouble, so we have managed to defeat it before the situation became catastrophic. However, the final wave turned out to be the great battle with the futuristic zombies, which fire plants obviously won. Take that, robots! On day 13, I made a huge mistake by taking a hot date on such a level, as Mecha Football Zombie doesn't find it a huge problem to deal with. This is yet another world where such a fantastic plant is highly reduced, so I recommend you to always remember about some specific robots that are going to appear on the level. The situation isn't so bad until you have a jalapeno or peppermint, but without them, the problem becomes catastrophic. On day 14, I had a limited amount of sun to spend, so I found nothing better than taking Meteor Flower, which allowed me to hold a massive wave of jetpacks and bucket heads. Don't underestimate any plant until you find a good way or situation to use it. Protect those citrons. It takes a lot of pulp to stand your ground like that. Compared to some of my previous challenges, day 15 wasn't the worst one, probably even one of the best. Unlike day 13 where Hot Date was a huge mistake, this time it was an ultimate weapon against the Robo Coneheads. The rest of the lanes were protected with the help of Inferno, which made sure that none of the zombies could reach my lawnmowers. Summarizing everything, Citron is a tough nut to crack. Day 16 was yet another conveyor belt level, so let me tell you an interesting fact about the far future. Did you know that this world's supposed to be the first one that contains gargantuars? Previously, until the map update in 2014, the game didn't have any gargantuars in it, meaning that the far future was designed to be a really hard world, and I can feel how perfectly it would fit in that role, since the rest of the zombies were also much tougher than all from the previous 3 worlds. Thank you so much for your attention. On day 17, I had to play with some pre-picked plants for me, one of which was the Magnifying Grass. In my opinion, it's one of the most underestimated plants in the entire game, as the gimmick of turning suns into laser shots was never seen before. After all, I can even see it as a premium plant instead of a star fruit, as Magnifying Grass truly deserves it. On day 18, we had to produce an insane 6,000 suns, which means that I could afford myself everything I wanted to. I haven't played a lot with the fire pea shooter since the first level of the far future, so that's why my choice fell on planting a few columns of fiery dudes. By the end of the level, my lawn was fabulous. It consisted of various kinds of fire plants, which left no chance for zombies to get at least to the jack-o'-lantern, especially since Wasabi Whip was also protecting everything. On day 19, sun bombs were once again falling from the sky like artillery shells. I couldn't even imagine that combining Inferno with Meteor Flower would give me such a fantastic effect, since the lawn reminded me of a battlefield from the Great War somewhere in France in 1918. Day 20 was pretty horrible for me, since my first attempt went from a miracle to reality in just a minute. First, I managed to destroy a spider imp when I thought I was done, and then only 2 seconds stopped me from beating the level on my very first attempt. I was cooked after that. However, I didn't want to give up, so my second attempt was much better than the first one, and hot dates combined with star fruits managed to hold a severe zombie attack. On day 21, I once again had to grind 5000 suns to beat the level. There is nothing much I can say about it, since the level started to repeat and the plant choice was nothing more than Inferno and Meteor Flower combined. That's how I spent this level. Day 22 was yet another last stand level for which I prepared a unique strategy. This time I combined some of my best fire plants to deal with big boys, and if something goes wrong on the other lanes, I prepared the Wasabi Whip for each of it, so not even the jetpack zombie could escape its fate. My idea has worked just as I wanted to, so the hot date survived until the final wave and saved my pumpkins from being smashed by gargantuars. Also, the rest of the zombies were defeated by Wasabi Whips, as they are the best choice to control the adjacent tiles. On day 23, the meteor shower was the only option to deal with annoying robots, especially since the plant number was limited, and so was the amount of available sun. With each day completed, we're coming closer to defeating Dr. Zomboss. Day 24 was the third level with falling sun bombs, the hardest one. If I didn't pick some of the classical fire plants on this level, this would mean a total domination of a newly introduced fire plants, which can't be a thing in a world like Far Future, so we have to break a tendency and beat the level just like we always used to. As you may see, a few columns of classical fire plants aren't weaker than Inferno and Meteor Flower combined, which means that they are fiery good. Day 25 didn't contain any fire plants, meaning it was just a usual battle with Dr. Zomboss that lasted only 4 minutes. Oh, that was hypno-amazing! I want to eat that hypno taco again. I need my time machine. Penny, did you feed Crazy Dave with the magical shrooms? They are for zombies, not for the Crazy Dave. Hypno-zombnosis! Hypno-zombnosis! Drats. Or it was Zombno-hypsosis? Anyway, the key is mine, which means that we are moving to the Dark Ages. Another 20 levels are waiting for us, but this time it's gonna be the most challenging adventure I have ever had, since the sun deficit is going to be an insane for us.